So, ladies and gents, this is my official, not so official, speedy intro to this series. In group, it's not group B actually, I believe it's group C. And we have the Hindustanis for Slam. Slam desperate for wins here. And then we have Vinchester, who's not so desperate for wins. Vinchester with 7 wins after 3 rounds. And I have to remember exactly where Slam's at, but we're catching up to live time, which is why we're going so speedy. And then we're going to cast the rest of the series live. Sicilian's the choice for Vinchester. Obviously has lost a villager already. So not the best start for him, as you can see Slam in the blue being the aggressor. And overall, I don't mind the Sicilian's pick, but might also be something that Vinchester's just trying to experiment with here on Ravines. Remember, Vinch is in a pretty good spot to be advancing out of this group. Obviously, he would love to be first, because first means you get a bye in the first round after the group stage. The second or third means you have to go into a round of 12. But okay, let's go through Slam real quick in my mind. I remember he got 3-0'd by Leary. And then he beat Song 2-1. Trying to think about who else he faced. Oh, and he got 2-1'd by Backed. So for Slam, he's all right in this group, but it's pretty much, it seems like anyways, as Slam's going Cav Archers and we're still speeding up and Slam trying to be aggressive and Vinchester defensive, blah, 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 blah. But you've got Song, Backed, Capwatch, and Slam that are basically fighting to see which two go down and which two stay up. That's essentially what the group looks like right now. So everyone hungry for wins. Vinchester also lost a game to Backed. I think Backed has looked the best out of the 4 I just mentioned. So Hindustanis, pretty common choice. Cheap villagers. Lots of good options. But I will say that Vinchester's economy is looking pretty insane here. 92 villagers versus 77. So the Cav Archers definitely didn't break him. It was big investment for Slam. And only 2 villagers killed. I don't know if he will necessarily like that, but he is on the way to the Imperial Age. Slam also has 2 relics. Slam going to add more and more archer ranges. So Vinch is going to go Cavalier. And Sicilian Cavalier are very tanky. They're very hard to stop as well because the Civilization, it resists bonus damage. Also, their castles go up very fast. Vinchester will complete his castle just like that. But like Vinchester's approach here, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of army. He has Cavalier on the way, but he doesn't have Imp Armor on the way. It almost looks like he wants to go for a Treb push of some kind. I think we're caught up now. Thank you for bearing with me as we catch up. But, I mean, Slam's army count is looking really good. He's got Camels and he's got Cav Archers, which should be able to push back Cavalier. But Vinch is all about that Deathball Treb push, I guess? I don't know. The donjon placement here, I guess, is just to deny gold. But that's confusing me, because I thought he would come in with Trebs. And I think that's going to freak Slam out as well. I think Slam's going to think this will be a Treb War situation. Halberg upgrade also isn't cheap. So if you think of how expensive Cavalier is, and then expensive how the Knights are, and then I guess maybe Vinchester wants his Monastery, but if you're going to go for Halberg, you need to have a big economy. He's got it, but he's not spending the resources, and there we go. Halberg, Cav on the way. Slam has Cav Archers. Slam has Camels that attack faster. I still feel like Slam's in a pretty good spot. So I guess maybe Vinchester saw this gold, and he saw the Monastery and realized, I don't have any relics yet, so let's just steal those, which is pretty intelligent. He's going to take this fight, though, right before Halberg, and lose his Cav. Slam now trying to turn this into a situation where Vinchester can't raid him. 1 or 2 Cavaliers sprinkled into the eco of Slam would be annoying, and you can see 2 Cav here. We have barracks for Vinch, so I think he's thinking Cavalier and Halberdier. But Slam's army is still really sick. He's got heavy camel. He's also got the Cav Archers, and he's going to dive right underneath these donjons, which shouldn't really accomplish too much. And he'll take one of those 2 trebuchets. Slam does notice this, but he's going to need to get camels back here, because otherwise these things are just going to tank TC shots like it's nothing. The tanky Sicilian Cavalier. The tricky thing to counter. Again, they resist bonus damage, so you're making a unit to counter it. It's not going to do as well as it would do against any other Civs Cavalier. This feels like Vinch is controlling the game a lot right now, and Slam's got to find a way And he's doing it now. Slam's got to find a way to make Vinch actually react for once. Vinchester trying to force reactions from Slam constantly. I love the TC spot for Vinchester. You can see on the right side of the minimap. But at the end of the day, I really do think these camels are going to clear the calf. I could be wrong. I think this is Vinch experimenting. He's really curious on if he can do this in the later rounds. Maybe he does feel like this is legitimately one of the best strategies, but we haven't seen it before. Slam's still getting hit by that one Cavalier, though. Still has a massive army. 156 pop versus 170. But Slam's got the army count with those Cav Archers. This Golden Stone will be so nice, though, for Vinch. Vinch also mixing in the Halbs now. Vinch getting into overboom territory. I think 150 villagers is probably a bit much. I could see 130 and 140 if you're going Cavalier Halb. Remember, Slam's vills are super cheap. But he only has 12 on food right now. So Slam's going to be lacking upgrades on those camels, which I think is a really big deal. Jeez, he's actually missing a ton of upgrades. I don't think he has Thumb Rank yet for his Cav Archers. There's no way he can get Heavy Cav Archer. He only has 1 armor on his camels. No attack upgrades. Vinchester's about to have full upgrades on everything. Vinchester, though, does not want to lose his castle. And that's what Slam's been working towards, is finally getting those Trebs to take out the castles and force reactions from Vinch. Vinch, though, still wanting to get raids in. Here he is. Let's see how these camels do it. Yeah, First Crusade is an interesting thought. Could maybe see that here from Vinchester, but he's got the resources, guys. He just simply isn't spending it. And if the Cavalier aren't strong enough, I could see Slam pushing this right back the middle. Again, he's hungry for wins. After losing to Backed 2-1, Slam fans were all worried for him, and then Slam ended up beating Song Song 2-1. There's been a lot of 2-1s. I think you had Catpoch 2-1ing Backed, you had Backed 2-1ing Slam, you had Slam 2-1ing Song Song. And then you had Backed, and then Vinchester 2-1ing Backed or something recently. And then I have to cast yet some of the other sets from the group. Like we had Leary play a set I haven't seen yet. But yeah, it's a very, very tightly contested group from everyone who is not Vinchester or Leary right now. So the good thing about Vinchester is that he doesn't really have to micro right now. It's very easy for him. He just patrols in his units. Bad thing is that the potential for Slam, if he can continue to max out this army, is just so much greater. Sicilians don't really have any other strong units that they can consider. The Cav Archer Camel combination with Indians counters virtually every civ in the game, but particularly civilizations that don't really have good range units to mix in. Maybe Siege Ram could have been out a little bit earlier, but Slam's going to try and pull these relics back to his base, and Slam's still trying to push the middle here. It still feels like Vinch's game plan of raiding was good, but maybe instead of raiding with 20, he needs to raid with like 3 or 4 here or there. But Slam continues to force the fights towards the middle here. This is awesome. We do have Siege Ram in for Vinchester. The Siege Ram is going to be distraction for a lot of these camels. Slam realizing that. Trying to avoid it. Trying to back away with the Cav Archers. Did just get Thumb Ring in a moment ago, so the Cav Archer is going to feel a lot stronger. But, Vinchester, why is he still making so many vills? He's got so many villagers, guys, but he's pushed it back. He's got the Rams now. Would love to see a couple Rams on the sides, like left and right side as well with a couple Halves would be awesome. Because the only thing Slam really has to contest the Rams is the Camels. And this is the unit we talked about. He doesn't have a lot of upgrades on them, and they would be very vulnerable against the Halberdier. So it's the composition that Vinch probably wants. First Crusade would make a lot of sense here if you're floating the resources forward as well. I think the Sergeant unique unit's actually pretty good against Archer Fire. I think they have 8 Pierce Armor, at least when they're elite. The Vinchester just trying to hold the map right now. Look at the flood from him. You see yellow dots everywhere. For a while there, it looked like Slam was going to be able to hold. Like, I was impressed with the way his Cav Archer micro was, but again, it's just so difficult. And if the Halbs or the Cavalier are getting close to you, you're forced to micro back, and all Vinch is focusing on is production buildings and patrolling his units forward. He doesn't have to do any real micro. Obviously, things like this, Slam's going to have to deal with as well. Vinchester just moving over to extra gold. Vinchester might, yep, he even noticed this as well. Again, you can pay attention to this when you're not trying to micro. And here he is, just repairing this castle. 160 villagers is still insane, though. like, that is an overboom. You don't need 160 villagers. But if 160 villagers works for long enough, your resources are just going to be there, but your opponent's going to be gassed. I think Slam's actually just going to be completely out of gold here in a second. The guy has not been able to expand to the right corner or the left corner much. And Slam taps out. GG. Dang. But yeah, I was thinking First Crusade would make sense because it can actually take you over 200 pop, which is kind of stupid, but that's how it works, right? So we didn't see it there from Vinchester. Vinchester just with the full map control, full eco. And man, I mean, that was crazy. It felt like every time Slam killed a group of Cavalier, Vinchester had another group, right? And I think what would go through my mind if I'm in Slam's position when the forward castles come up is Treb push. And I think he grouped everything up here like, oh my god, I have to defend here. He never was able to move around and try and get any raids in. I think because of how defensive Vinch played, but also because he had to respect the forward castles and what can come from that. And Vinch said, haha, not doing anything here, actually. I'm going to get conscription. I'm going to expand my eco to the corners, and I'm just going to raid you. And he sent a couple groups in on either side. And Slam was able to push a castle or two back, but then at that point, he had run out of gold. Vinchester was so prepared and so ready. So Vinchester gets a win. Again, $40 for him. He's going to be racing Leary, essentially, for #1 in their group. And I think they play each other in the last week as well, so that should be a fun series. Yeah, 66,000 resources brought in from Vinch. And we'll go to the next game, and we won't have to speed through Dark Age. All right, so not the map that I expected Slam to go for after a loss when he's in need of a victory, but here he is. And he's playing Houseboat. The Slam in the blue playing as the Persians. Did not win the first game. There we go. Then we got Vinchester in the yellow playing as the Chinese. Did we see Vinchester play this map recently? Let's see. Last week we saw Nikov. I think it was Nikov versus Tato. We then saw Nikov versus some other series with Nikov. I think Dogao. And then it was I think it was backed in Vinchester, actually. Yes, I think it was backed in Vinchester. Yes, he went Malay in that one. It was actually Malay against Chinese. So here he is playing as the Chinese. Excuse me. And we've got Slam playing as the Persians. And this is the first time we've seen the Persians picked on this. I feel like there's other choices players have opted for. Japanese, Malay, Mayans, Chinese, and then again, I don't think we've seen any of the other civilizations, so clearly Slam has a plan here. Now, he did actually pick this as a home map up against Backed, and he won that game against Backed. He was Mayans against Backed's Malay. That was 2 rounds ago. So one of his few wins in this he was able to get on Houseboat. Naming the game on Houseboat, obviously. Get your start down. Getting the start down is really difficult. You have to transport your villagers constantly. Normally you're taking the shorefish at the start. After that, you're going to have to find a wood line. Going for the forward wood line is not ideal. After the wood line, you're normally going to want to get a dock down. For Slam, he does start with plus 50 wood and plus 50 food. So that's always good to get the dock down earlier, and there he goes. I like the dock on the outer ring. That way you can take 2 shorefish with villagers. You'll run out of the inner shorefish pretty quickly. But guys, there's been this theme with Persians where their start is good, but in Castle Age, they just never seem to excite me. And that has happened on Cross. Robo, could you bring up the win rate of Persians, actually? Robo's got a cool dock. But I think they're 0-5 from what I'm seeing. I have not seen Persians win a game yet. For all the pros of their early game, I feel like in the mid game, you just kind of get stuck on knights. They don't really have a whole lot else that excites you. Think of some of the other civs, like Lithuanians, for example. I think it was another civ we saw here. Got good trash with good knights. Got hand cannons, bomber cannon, you know, like, I guess Persians have that as well. I don't know, but just like the flow of the game, even if a lot of this is just based on feel, I'm never truly excited about the Persians in Castle Age these days. Persians are 2-5 overall, but 0-5 on cross. Oh, yeah, I remember Yo winning with Persians on Jungle Swamp. Could you tell me what the other win was? Also, hello, Krillin. Honestly, Teddy didn't exactly say it, but Teddy was talking about taking someone else's pond. You know where Persians could really excite me here, guys? Is docking the opponent's pond. Because Persian docks have all the tanky HP. I think that's got to be your play. 3,600 HP. I think Slam's strategy 120 million trillion % has to be to go forward and try and dock your early feudal. There are some civs like Japanese or Mayans or Malay. They prefer to soak up the pressure and invite the pressure. But I think with the faster dock work rate and the more HP, you have to go forward to your opponent's pond here. Yeah, and you can't TC drop on this map, so that's not an option. Persian's very noob friendly. No, I agree with that statement. I just feel like competitively in the mid game they just don't really have that spark. So it's very important that they get an early lead. Because with the Chinese start with more vills, they have cheaper technologies throughout the whole game, and they can pretty much do anything. Their unique unit's more helpful in the Chukunu. Their unique techs are probably more relevant to their civilization than maybe the Persian unique technologies. They can go archers, they can go skirms, they can go camels, they can go knights, they can go siege ram, they can go onager. Chinese can kind of do everything. That said, Chinese is like one of the best civilizations in the game. But again, I'm like circling it back to why Persians, Slam? Why Persians? I think we're going to see the villagers go forward. I think that's why he would pick Persians here. Here he goes with a vill. Hello, Krillin. Hello, Brad. He says, is the Trashbow Tech Castle or Imp? I think that is the Castle Age one. But I guess the issue is it's still, even though the crossbows only cost wood, it's still like not a great unit to have in Imp, right? But I think that can be more helpful for lower rated players. I just don't know if that is something that works out competitively all that often. Okay, Vinchester looking for this. Vinchester possibly expecting this. Slam is going to drop this dock now. Actually needs the wood for it. There you go. All right. So he's going to get the walls down. Here comes Vinch. Vinch wants so badly to stop this. But I think Vinch is doing the right thing here. Vinch is dropping a second dock, so he's going to try and defend from this. Slam has to make sure he actually completes this dock. And then another important thing is keeping the Vill here. Because half the battle when it comes to fighting is repairing. And actually, this could lead to a bad situation for Slam's villager. Because Slam's villager has to complete the dock. And Vinchester says, you live here now. All right. That's interesting. Also, scouts fighting. Scouts will be hugely important here. Slam does have a bit more in the way of HP. Slam now cannot repair his ships, guys. So that's kind of a funny side note. We'll have 2 fire galleys coming out for Vinchester. So 2 dock production versus 1. I think he should be okay. Now, this doesn't mean that Slam's in a bad spot necessarily, because Slam has forced a lot of investment. And now his fishing ships are safe. But he is going to add a barracks, which makes me think he's going to go for a bit of an early switch. And I think early archer switch could work really well. Again, with this dock being here, you are constantly in the back of Vinchester's mind. And this dock can queue up so many ships because it will take forever to clear it up. What I like to see is you just keep continuous production here. You never stop. And then you also try and mix in those archers, right? But man, if you could get a few archers and a spearman over to the wood line, Vinchester gets distracted, and then you pop out with a demo with a bunch of fires because he thinks you're only going to have 2 of them here. It could be huge. Don't think I ever watched live, but home with COVID, and so great to finally be able to watch some T90 while I recover. Thanks, T90. Yo, Klopp, sorry to hear that, but there's a positive, I guess, right? Glad you could make it. Been hearing that a lot recently. I don't know how many other viewers have COVID right now, but it feels like a lot of people who didn't get it over the last 2 years have been getting it over the last month or so. So, sorry to hear, guys. Like what Slam's doing. I like how he's still producing. Would like to see him consider repairing the dock if he ever needs to. Also really like how Vinchester has spread his ships out. And then also love how he just killed Slam's scout. But he has not scouted this yet. I think that's a pretty important note. Might be tempted to actually bring villagers forward. If he thinks Slam is going to stop producing, I could see him being tempted to come forward and just dock this. Slam walling up. He'll be safe. He's also going to get the blacksmith for fletching. Slam's dock still has ships inside of it. Again, this is kind of the pro of Persians. Going to want to make this work. So no barracks for Vinch. He seems on the fence on what he wants to do. Okay, no, he added the barracks, excuse me. Okay. Yeah, he's going to go stable. But I don't know. I mean, Slam's walled. So Slam's fish are fishing freely. His eco is going to be fine. I do like how Vinch is sitting back here with the demo, though. Love to see those archers show up at some point for Slam, though. I mean, you already have fletching. Get those archers in. And, okay, will Vinch see this? Slam, don't attack it. Just pass it. Okay, I don't think Vinch noticed that, but Vinch will see the range. So Vinch might think that there's only one archer on the way, and that he could use a scout, possibly, to deny that. He might add one scout, but he doesn't know that there's a bunch of archers. Also, completely missed this as Slam went out with his ships. Apparently, the KD wasn't that impressive. Wait, how did that even happen? 4 deaths? 2 kills? Yeah, must have got a few kills. Here come the archers, though. Here come the archers. Sorry, lots to focus on here. I could always go back and show you that later. Villagers still not repairing, which is so weird to me. And look at Vinchester, man. He's going to save these vills. The demo for Slam could pop out, though, at any point. Vinchester doesn't really have a solid counter to fletching archers. What do you guys think about the fact that Slam has not tried to repair this dock? That bothers me so much. Okay, now he gets a demo to land. And I guess his long-term focus isn't going to be the water anyway. But I would have really liked to see him repair this dock. I feel like he could have continued to make fires that whole time. Obviously, trying to transition up to Castle Age. This map is really, really complicated. Like the damage he's doing with the archers. Also, really like the pressure he's been able to dish out. That said, Slam is the only one who's been able to kill Eco, and Vinchester's also done a really good job to defend his vills. He's got quite a few weak villagers out there. But like Slam! Bro, we just added the range, man! Like, I think this is tournament nerves. I think it's tourney nerves. He just added the range. Imagine if the archers would have moved over here. He could have killed villagers. Timing was definitely there for him. He maybe didn't want to lose his mass. He's going to add a stable as well right now. He's also going to snag this boar. Really like how Slam has handled his food eco out here. Double berries. Taking the boar now. But man, I mean, there wasn't even a single skirmisher. He's scared to run back there. Vinchester probably would have added a tower or something, but you got to make your opponent work for it. Anyways, Castle Age times are going to be similar. I love Houseboat, man. I love Houseboat. Evening, Bilbo. Welcome. I think 4 fishing ships are kind of the meta. Only do... Well, first off, I disagree with that. I actually really like to go up to like 7 or 8. But there's a lot of different things you need to spend your wood on. And so it is very much situational. And I think in the case of Slam, he was spending his wood on the early archers. And we now have a pause. Yeah, good question. What is Vinchester going to make? No upgrades. Hasn't really committed to a lot here.
Yes.
There's the pause. I mean, I think he wants to drop town centers, and I think he just wants to boom right now. But Slam with early crossbowmen could kill him. Here come the archers. Again, we're coming back from a pause. Okay, Castle Age in for Slam. He immediately hits crossbow. And he sees those skirms. Now, let's see. I mean, a lot of players are just going to run right out for those skirms because those skirms don't have upgrades. Slam hesitates a little bit. Here he comes, though. Okay, he knows now. Vinchester trying to distract, which is so good because he just wants to get the town center down. Slam should notice something's up with the way things are moving here. And he's killed one Vill. He's going to potentially kill more here. It's worth it probably to just sacrifice your whole army if you get 5 kills. But if you get 1 or 2, maybe not. He gets a few of them there. I don't think Slam will be too unhappy with that. I think he'll be pretty pleased. He's going to add the TC at home. Have to keep an eye on things like horse collar, the wood upgrade. Obviously, army momentum as well, as we have a TC here for Vinchester, just being so defensive. So defensive. Crossbow army still can get great value. I mean, this crossbow army still could kill villagers on this TC. Vinchester's just not really controlling the game with army right now. It has been all Slam in terms of the aggression in this game. Vinchester's had a lot of impressive moments, though, where he's kept his vills alive and must recognize, I'm Chinese, just let me get my eco rolling and I'll be fine. Persians do not excite me in the mid game. And Vinchester probably thinking the same. He's got a knight and an archer. The TC will complete. He will kill this army. So after it's all said and done, Vinchester has the eco lead, guys. And he's got his 3 town centers. Now, one of those TCs, obviously, is the middle one. But that would be the case for Slam now as well. Okay, so what do you make as Persians here? Your opponent hasn't really shown much. So I think you just stick with stable units. Crossbows probably worse off in the long run, not having arbalest and whatnot. It isn't necessarily an argument not to make them. It's still something you invested into. Vinchester has the slightly higher score, probably because of having Navy, but also having the Vill lead. Overall, a very close game right now. And I think that economically, it should be close, though it's not going to be easy for these players to manage their eco, trust me. Forward Monastery is not a bad addition. I think Slam is still very confused on what his opponent's going to do right now. But he wants to have this monastery out to maybe get some relics and get any conversions. Here comes some camels and here comes some crossbows. And Vinchester wants a castle, guys. Now, he has Town Watch, so he can see this from a long ways away. You're going to see Vinch go Chukunu? Now he's getting crossbow? I don't know. Is anyone else, like, feel like Vinchester could be punished by, you know, a few other names that may be out there? I mean, Slam is punishing him now as well. Slam's like, you have nothing, man. Screw your Scorpion. But at the same time, even though it hasn't been overly convincing from Vinch, he's not taking tons of damage. Even there, he's going to keep his villager alive? No, excuse me, he doesn't keep the vill alive. Vinchester's eco is still pretty solid. 55 versus 57. See if maybe Slam wants to loop back here. Unlikely he does, I think, because of the TC fire. Always really frustrating to be in Slam's position, though, because you feel as though you've done more, right? Like, you were the aggressor with the dock. You went crossbow, and you went camel. Your opponent hasn't done much. It's just except sit back and soak up the pressure. But now the Chukunu are on the way, I'm beginning to worry. I think Chukunu is actually one of the better units you can make as Chinese against the Persians. One of the weaknesses of Persians is that their range units are just not good in the long run. And so, yeah, Chukunu, one of the better range units in the game. Vinchester on 1 castle, maybe building up towards 2. T90, why is every caster showing Slam vs. Vinch and no one is casting MBL vs. Bad Boy? Is it possible to watch his series anywhere? I have no control over what other people do. For me, I'm stacking the series that probably just because they're not, no one's interested in, everyone wants to go for like the quote-unquote bigger names. And then also probably due to the fact that they don't, they might not have known it was happening. In our case, I will be covering the series, and a big shot there from Slam. Vinchester did not expect the siege, but I will be covering some as Rex. So I don't know if that's on the cards for today, because I forget our full schedule for the day, but I'm doing 5 sets today, 4 sets tomorrow, 4 sets after. Some will be live, some will be Rex. So we'll be covering MBL Bad Boy tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. With other events going on, with the first season, we weren't able to promise like full live coverage because that would be impossible for players combining events to be able to do things in the order we needed. So being as flexible as possible for the players, so it's as fair for them as possible, and covering every set when I can. So honestly, I feel like Slam, he's forcing a lot of reactions from Vinchester, and I'm still liking it. He's adding the TC here. We have a TC from Vinchester. 79 eco versus 81. Did you watch Viper vs. Doubt? We're casting Viper vs. Doubt next. That's another example. No spoilers. 25 on food versus 22 on food. A lot of that wooden come for Slam is probably going to be in farms at some point. But when a player's got Chukunu, Kind of a scary thing, man. Chukanu's actually not bad against siege. Chukanu's not bad against melee units. I think the weakness of Chukanu is due to the fact that you have to make it out of a castle and they produce rather slowly. The other thing is Chinese, you don't see Chukanu as frequently simply due to the fact that Chinese sometimes need to do other things. So, I mean, I'm liking the long-term plan here for Vinch. And if you're worried about that, if you're Slam, I think you maybe want to go up towards an early imp play. Drop a castle here, go for trebuchets, try and push Vinchester's castles back. We have a university now for Vinchester. Ballistics will come in for him. Neither player really spending food on anything but villagers right now. Slam siege. Boom. Shot. Missed. Vinchester with the micro. Vinchester won't get it, though. Sick stuff. Monk also dodging. Now Ballistics is in. Slam should realize this. Now the repair villager could save Slam and give him a big shot. Let's see. Nope, I'm wrong. And Chukanu own all. You're now making crossbowmen, which just do not feel like a good unit in the long run with Persians. You now feel like you need to switch into knights. Guys, this is the point. Like, Slam, he had such a decent start here, and even early Castle Age was strong, but Vinchester knew that if he just got to this stage, suddenly Persians aren't looking too hot. Like, I think you cannot go skirm in this situation if you're Slam, because doing so is going to leave you open to a knight switch from a civ that has crazy eco and full cavalier. So he feels like maybe he should be going knights because Persian knights, boom! Great reaction from Vinchester. Persian knights do extra damage against archers. So that on paper is probably your best unit to go for here. Vinchester about to click up. Slam. He was thinking about making army there. He made the stables. Still making stables, but notice he didn't make many units. I think this is the correct call from Slam. And he still would have a... I'm really glad he did that because he still has a good opportunity. If he can drop a castle here, and now he starts to flood the knights, he could go Trebor with Cavalier, and the difference would be that the Cavalier can actually snipe trebuchets. Vinchester's building up for the long run here. He's dropping another castle. He's actually adding stables, though. I like this castle from Slam. So Vinch might actually just go into heavy camel then. From what I'm seeing here, it looks like Vinchester will not commit fully to Chukanu. He's got tons of gold right now. He has lots of back gold to take as well. Vinch is going to see this castle. I wouldn't be comfortably moving forward here. Let's just put it that way. I would see 3 mangonels and I would back away. But Vinchester says, yeah, that's a good idea. And I don't know if it was. I don't think that was smart at all. Vinch has been very bold at times throughout this game. Bold in not making army. Bold in running forward when his opponent has more siege than him there. Oh, come on, Slam. You've got to get +2 armor, man. This is your time to get maxed out on Castle Age armor. It's such a crucial thing. Both players are super far behind on upgrades. And Slam's probably going to build up towards trebuchets out of these castles. We might see him click conscription. I could also see Slam considering the onager upgrade because he doesn't know about the stables. I would not like the onager upgrade, obviously, knowing what we know. A 1 relic for Slam, 29 kills, 29 deaths. Vinchester somehow has 28 kills, 28 deaths, so I'm guessing Slam killed one of his own units. There's the armor upgrade. Again, a little late there. Let's see. Does he go for Trebs? Or does he go for conscription? The castle's still kind of far away. Feels like conscription. He hasn't done either yet. War Elephant. What the? Trebuchet. Okay. Slam trolling the casters over here. What was that, man? Okay. Range will go down. Again, Slam has no clue his opponent is going to go heavy camel. That's a great unit choice here for Vinchester, though he doesn't have many just yet. And Slam's going to have Cavalier. Slam does have houses and some vision in the north. I think he will also keep an eye towards the south. Vinchester going to send a few knights out to raid Slam, and man, is he so exposed. It's so easy right now for Vinchester to run in with 3 knights. And it really comes back to the fact that Slam isn't pressuring. Like, Slam needs to be killing Vinch, pressuring Vinch, so Vinch can't float army to go do this. You know, it's bad when you have to send Cavalier to deal with Knights and you're farming eco. Vinchester, he now is going to see this Trebuchet. And you see what that has done for him? That allows him to just poke his head out here, see what's up. Send some Chukanu forward. He's still making them, by the way. Knight will slowly go down. Vinchester, Chukanu, and Camel. It's a great combination. Let's see if Slam Siege can snipe a Trebuchet, though. Slam could actually snipe both the Trebs here. Remember, he couldn't really decide on if he was going all-in Trebs or if he was going to go for all-in army. He was very late with his Trebuchets here, but now Slam goes in, and now Slam will know his opponent's going Camel and Chukanu. Sadly for him, he loses his Treb, but I don't think anyone, as I talk about it all the freaking time, would really deserve to take out the castle when you move in with just one Treb. Slam's going to go hand cannons now. So Cavalier hand cannon is his choice. And suddenly the Chukanu is becoming more and more of a talking point because the Chukanu, it feels much better than a hand cannon. Better HP. Not quite as much damage output, I guess, technically, but you have ballistics. You have thumb ring. Those hand cannons maybe prepped for Hal. Maybe he thought Vinchester would go Hal, but that's not going to be the case here. Hand cannon, pretty niche unit. They're very good, but mainly against infantry. Also very heavy on gold cost here for Slam. He's given himself a little time window here with how he's opened. Now he's here with one Treb, trying desperately to repair his castle. And one thing Persians have the Chinese don't have is bomber cannon. So that's nice. But I don't know about this fight, Slam. I don't know if this fight's going to be good for you. The Cavalier, they have no attack upgrades. We'll see what that bomber cannon can do behind this. While the economy's close, though, the bomber cannon for Slam will go down. Most of the Cav go down for both players here, actually. The Trebs are still firing. It's actually very close. Slam's got reinforcements in queue. So does Vinch. But not as much as maybe either player needed. And Slam, that's what you could call a 50-50. Like, you know, in like soccer or football, whatever, you have like a 50-50 tackle. A Slam maybe wins the 50-50. I guess if someone wins, it's not a 50-50 anymore. So what am I saying? Still feel like the Chukanu have yet to get stronger here. Those Camels have a lot of upgrades. But if Slam can continue to snowball this with bombard cannons, he could, in theory, take out those Chukanu. I like this from Slam. I think he needs his mass, but I like how he's finally trying to raid Vinchester. He's been respecting him so much. Just run into his base. Vinchester's just expecting you not to have the confidence to. And Vinchester says, this is why you shouldn't run into my base. And a beautiful, beautiful building wall there from Vinch. So heads up play from him. Why not trash bows? I think they do nice versus Camels. Because it only does 8 attack. They're a bad unit. They're a bad unit. It's a crossbow. So yes, it's cheap, but they have economies to basically go for anything. If it's low eco, maybe it makes sense. If there's not a lot of gold access, it maybe makes sense. I don't think trash bow would actually be good. I know what you're saying, that it's some type of ranged unit to mix in. But Slam doesn't need anything cheap. He just needs to get the best units possible. There will be a time where maybe trash bow is an option. I would disagree with it here. Not when you have this economy. But you've got to max out in other ways too, right? Like, not having attack upgrades at all on the cab is pretty bad. Sneaky from Vinchester with the Treb, but also weird that he had no army to protect it. Slam's going to take that out. But now Vinchester sees that the army's out of position, so he's going to move forward. As bomber cannons again, the target for the Chukanu, and they'll take out the they won't really take out the Chukanu, but the Chukanu take out the bomber cannons. And there's now more bomber cannons for Slam. Again, I think adding bomber cannons is good, and actually his hand cannons have done way better than I expected here. I guess at the end of the day, they're doing 17 damage. I don't know. I haven't been overly convinced with some of the fights that Vinchester's taking as well. Taking some weird engagements. But I think he just has so much confidence that his army's going to be better that he continues to take it. I'm not so convinced now. Like, the hand cannons are getting some really good hits in, and the hand cannon damage is chewing up the Camels pretty nicely. Did anyone else see the hand cannon choice originally and say, oh, that's weird? But now you're looking at it and you're loving it? Because I'm loving it, man. The Chukunu number needs to be at like 25, 30, and then suddenly the Chukunu, I think, are going to be the better unit, but Slam's gone for a massive overboom, and he's just relying on this tiny little siege death ball. Would love to see him try and raid a little bit more. He's worried about being raided himself, so he's walling the sides. Very much wants to push the middle. Vinchester, some vision there. We'll see the walls here. Slam's walls will force Vinch back. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, it felt like, you know, the hand cannon move, maybe his best choice. We were concerned that he wouldn't have a combo, but he's always, if he has hand cannons, he has some Hussar in front. He also has the bomber cannons behind. Still a 40 HP unit at the end of the day, and maybe I spoke too soon, guys. Maybe now we're seeing what we were expecting earlier. More bomber cannons going down. This Chukunu just wrecking. I guess Elite might not have been in some of the earlier engagements as well, and yeah, okay, well, I spoke way too soon. Slam's completely outmatched now. I mean, again, Persians feel very average in Castle Age. Slam, he tried to pressure in Castle Age. He wasn't able to do enough. Vinchester just sat back. Vinchester's got no pressure on him in the group stage whatsoever. Slam does. Slam's desperate for victories. And while it was looking decent there for Slam, now we've got Siege Ram all of a sudden. We're going to have Rams moving in against the ranges, and I think Slam is finished here. And yeah, I mean, again, 2 minutes ago, I'm like, oh, it's actually not looking too bad. Boom, Slam dies. But a great game from Vinchester, and I think he just recognized Persians, they're going to dock me. I need to defend from that, and then we just chill out. He didn't play like a player that was under pressure. He wasn't playing a civilization that maybe could threaten him in ways that other civs could. Now, it has been like my recent experience as well, but the Persian win rate hasn't been great. Slam's strategy, just maybe not the best one he could have gone for in that particular game. Hard to stop the Chinese either way, obviously. Talk a lot about the Gujaras, the Hindustanis, and the Chinese so far in this league and how dominant those civilizations have been. But Slam, sad times for him, guys, as he is near the bottom of Group C. He would love a win. Not many people have been able to get wins against Vinchester. In fact, the only person that's been able to get a win was Backed. If he could win game number 3, suddenly he's feeling a whole lot better as he will move on. But let me think through. I'll actually look at this before the next game starts. Or did they start the next game? Nope. We can't talk about it. They started the next game already. Okay. So here we are, game 3. It feels like it is really important for Slam to get a result here. It is fight for every win time for Slam. Not that wouldn't happen previously. We have the Burgundians for Vinchester. Burgundians. I've never seen Burgundians on Golden Swamp. We have seen Burgundians a lot. Burgundians are typically good if you can wall up and play into land eco. But here we are on a bit of a hybrid map. And then we have Slam, who's gone for the Lithuanians. Lithuanians, I definitely have seen more of. Starting with all that extra food means you can go to wood a bit earlier, like Slam's doing, and then get an early dock. So again, I'm just going to go through this in my head, mainly for Slam. Because for Vinchester, regardless of what happens here, regardless of what happens when he plays Leary, he's going to be moving on out of the group. For Slam, he doesn't know where he's going to be. Slam could be 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. And there's 4 more games for him to play. So he beat Song 2-1. And he lost 2-1 to Back. So he had 3 wins. And then he also had been 3-0'd by Leary. Yeah, so he had 3 wins before this, guys. And then his final set after this, which will be next week, is going to be versus Capwatch, who's going to be in a similar spot with wins and is also going to be just as hungry. In fact, I think I'll be casting Capwatch versus Leary later today from this group, because that happened yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, we don't know what other results are going to happen, but certainly, like, that Capwatch Slam series is going to be crazy, and it's going to have a lot of emotions tied to it. So I've seen different approaches on this map. I've seen some players go for water. I've seen most players go for water, actually, and then I've seen other players go for land. You can kind of combine both. There is a ton of food. With Burgundians, you could maybe just say, forget about water, and I'm just going to boom up on land and let you fish, but I think you have to contest it in some way. So we'll have to see. Like, I could see Vinchester loving the fact that he's got his Feudal Age wood upgrade already, and then using that wood to contest water. Were the first 2 games close? Well, the first game I'd say was pretty close. Honestly, the games were very similar. Slam was more aggressive in Castle Age. Vinchester kind of held off and defended, and then Vinchester won in mid-Imperial Age. They were very different games, but that's kind of how they played out. I wouldn't say they were stomps by Vinchester, but it did also feel like Vinchester just kind of knew what he needed to do the whole way through. Obviously, lots of gold in the middle. Plenty of gold at your base to work with as well, though. Okay? And Bilbo, I don't even know. I don't even think Slam is necessarily underperforming. I just think that these groups are really competitive. I think Backed has been playing like an animal. So Backed 2-1ing Slam was an eye-opener for me that Backed is just playing insane. He also took a win off of Vinchester. Capwatch has also been really good as well, though, because like Capwatch opened up TTL and he went 2-1 against Backed. This group has just been really, really interesting because of Vinchester Leary being near the top, and then the other 4 just trading results. Like, I think the weakest player in this group is probably Song Song, and Song Song still could have some crazy things to show. Because Song Song, it looked bad for him after the first 2 weeks because he played Leary and then he played Vinchester. And then he moved on to the other 4, so. There's the fishing ships now for Slam. Vinchester has just added his dock, so much later. And Vinchester also going to wall. He's going to use his scout to annoy Slam right now. And I think Slam's going to go Feudal Age here, guys. Seems to me like he's going to go Feudal Age, getting Loom right now. Needs to drop off the food. And there he goes. Can he really control the middle with no water control? It's probably not good. I think what's fun about this map is how much you invest into it. Some players will decide to open with land aggression against water control, and then it forces the water player to be like super reactive to you. And then as they're reacting to you against like scouts or archers, you sneak up a couple docks. Other players will do the opposite, where they open up with water, like we're going to see here. Slam. Vinchester has been pretty creative in this event. He used Gorjaros on this map, and he was the first to do that. I think he's the first one to use Burgundians on this map. But I don't know, like, I feel like Slam's going to be loving life right now. I'd love to see him open galleys, actually, instead of going for fire galleys here. What he won't know is that his opponent hasn't clicked up to Feudal Age yet. This is a really good build order from Slam. He's on 2 docks. He's been on 4 fishing ships, so his eco has been very good. And Vinchester has added the mill here. He's going to still delay his uptime. But I think Vinchester's trying to full wall his base on land. He's just going to give up water. What seems like to me. See what Slam decides to do then. Slam opening with fire galleys. I mean, it could be galleys or fire galleys. At this point, it doesn't really matter. And if I were Slam, I would add fishing ships after my first 2 fire galleys. Some players will go for 4, and then they're going to add more fish because you don't really know 100% if the guy's going to be up yet or not. You don't want to add fish too early. We'll see what Slam ends up doing, but if the Burgundian player is sitting back, this is clearly a fast castle for Vinchester. You want to gain some type of reward, and you need to add some fishing ships. Yeah, so Teddy, I've had games where I'm in Vinchester's position and I think I'm good to go, and then suddenly my walls start to go down here. I think that these walls could be taken out, but I think it's easy enough for Vinchester to wall behind it a little bit further back, so I think Vinchester's going to be fine with his fast castle. Yeah, Slam recognizes this, so now all of his villas that were on the straggler trees, they should pull in and take food probably. He's still got more than enough on wood. He can add more fish. Yeah, Vinchester, again, unique player, unique strategist. Just choosing to go fast castle here. So far, so good for Slam. Let's actually check the resources brought in. This is interesting. Vinchester's focused a lot more on food. Slam has had to go heavy on wood and heavy on gold. But obviously, in theory, the fishing ships are going to bring in a lot of food for Slam. I think just where it gets complicated is you're expecting to have to contest water. You've sent a lot to wood and gold to contest water. So now you're going to float wood and you're going to float gold in ways that you're not used to at this stage. And now he's like, well, I guess I'll go archers. You know, he doesn't know what to do. No walls for Slam, but he should know that he doesn't have to worry about this for a while. Vinchester's scout is actually pulled back into his base, so he's being extra safe. Also interested to see if Vinchester would maybe go to stone. It's been very popular these days to go for a castle drop with Burgundians, but he has not done that yet. Honestly, I could see Vinchester just booming. Or I could see Vinchester even being the guy who goes for a monastery in Castle Age, tries to convert the opponent's ships. Ooh, demo. Maybe he will try and sneak a villager and redock or something. The play here is just to take out as many fishing ships as possible. That's the reasoning for the demolition ship. We'll see if this does much. Slam's splitting them up, though. It's like he's expecting it. They're all in different salmon. So Vinchester's just being patient. Yeah, I mean, whatever, right? Like, it's not that big a deal. Vinch is still looking, though. Vinch is trolling, bro. He's trolling. This is what I mean. Like, Slam's... Imagine how that makes Slam feel. Slam's under so much pressure. Oh, God. And now we have docks. Now we have docks. Okay, so that was my question. So look at Slam's position. Where's his scout at right now? So his scout has come home because he's concerned that there might be a sneak. He needs holes in his walls. And he just doesn't... He just completely switched off water. He's got to keep an eye on this. Oh, man. This could be so good for Vinch. Because if Vinch takes out the fish, it's 31 vills versus 28. But then he's in Castle Age. Oh, man. This is... Slam is just completely assuming that Vinchester will never come back on water here. This is really bad. If he saw that, it's fine. If he sees it, it's fine because then he can add more ships. And he can kind of hold till he's in castle. But not seeing it is really bad. Because now he spent wood on a second stable. He's obviously walling up a lot right now. And okay, good news for Slam is he actually sees it. I've been saying, guys, that I really like the idea as we see a TC for Vinchester of just drushing the water and switching onto it later on. I really, like, I played on both sides of it. I really feel like it's overrated to go for the early fishing ship play in Feudal. I mean, okay, maybe that's a dumb statement. It's obviously given Slam a lot of reward. So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but you have to be really on top of it and really pay attention. Otherwise, you're just going to lose all your fish. And then suddenly you've got no farms, which is going to be painful. But Slam's going to... Oh, he almost trapped the scout. That would have been nice. Being Lithuanians, obviously, he's going to want those relics. He doesn't want the scout to find them. Slam is floating a lot of resources. Vinchester also, though, investing into some farms, monastery, and second TC. Slam's got a lot of fishing ships to lose, which means he's gained a lot from his situation, and he is adding more fire galleys. So forgive me, Slam fans. You know, you watch the guy play enough, and sometimes you just worry a little bit, particularly with how good Vinch is playing, that he's not going to get that switch in when he needs it. And, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking could happen. Slam's going to keep his scout alive, though, which I like. He's also going to add knights, which could be helpful. Not so much against walls, though. And yeah, Vinchester says, no fish for you, Mr. Slam. So Slam could always land a couple big demo shots. He's got a demo in here now. He's going to move out. Vinchester may be distracted. Boom. Good demo from Slam. Some weak ones he's going to love to take. If he could get this one. Oh, he doesn't get either. Another demo here and another demo here. So yeah, he's going to rely mainly on the demos. Vinch 2 TCs already, though. Slam adding that now. 38 eco versus 40. A very competitive, very close game. Slam's fishing ship's still alive. Also, there's a chance these knights could maybe break through. Right now, Vinchester's hoping to get that relic from the middle. He will know that the Lithuanians are going to want those relics, so he's going to be out and about for that. Vinchester actually won't be able to react in time to make a house wall behind this, so those knights from Slam will make it through. We still watch the monks and the fires, but it feels like Slam is losing water. Okay, so good news for Vinchester is that he has another gold underneath that TC. Bad news is he's going to take losses here. He's going to lose 1. Should easily be 2. Slam with some good kills. Slam finding some value there. Also landed a demo right before his dock went down. Vinchester with some idle time right now. Only 6 on food. Both players actually struggling for food income. Slam's fishing ship still not able to do much. Obviously, both will be transitioning into their farming eco. I expect both players to kind of resolve those issues, but it still is pretty messy right now for Vinchester. Only 4 on food. Normally, you wouldn't see someone in Vinch's position add a lot of fish right here, but I think he might just do that or maybe just buy some food here. I mean, his idle TC time is insane. Slam has definitely transitioned this a lot smarter and a lot better, and he could also add the 3rd TC now, which I wouldn't mind. But he might be stubborn. He might realize that he cannot lose water. So he might actually add another dock here. Doesn't look like he will, though. Feels like a game that Slam could win. You know, we had that game 1, game 2. Went all the way to the Imperial Age. He's so important for Slam. Because he did land a demo there. And actually a massive demo. That's a great shot. Let's actually go back and watch that one. Because it feels like this demo is huge. Wow, look at this. He's got demo on either side here. Watch this. Sees these are weak. Boom. Takes that. Boom. Takes that. And then pops out with his fire. That was sick. We'll catch up now, but that could lead to Slam again. Coming back on water, possibly. Did choose to go for the TC instead of the 2nd dock, and is adding farms, obviously, with his wood, so... That's the scout. Kills the monk. Going for a dock. Sorry, guys. We're catching up. And yeah, actually looking okay for Slam. He loses his fish. But 51 villagers versus 50 right now. 59 population versus 60. Super close game. Also, love having the monks out here even just to convert the ships. Also, love how Slam has the scout here with the knights, because he knows what Vinch is going to use for this. He also knows that relic is back there. He does not want an opponent to get that relic. Also, if we're talking about things that we love, I love that Vinch is doing the same thing, and I love the quick wall! No! Sad times. It was a nice idea from Slam there to save the monk, but well played from Vinchester. He, too, was rewarded for moving around with scouts. Here's the scout. We'll see if Vinch knows the scout is in the group. Vinchester distracted. What? What? That was like 3 hits, man. Did he run away too early? Oh, God. Now it's going to get converted, too. Oh, God. No. Oh, geez. He just deletes it. Slam's got to be so annoyed. That, to me, I mean, I heard the sound each time. That probably was him trying to run forward before his shot actually hit. But it feels like something was up there. Poor Slam. He did all the work to kill the monk and then ends up losing the scout anyways. I don't know if that's a new thing, by the way, but last week as well, we saw an instance where someone clearly hit a 1 HP villager with a scout. It was Viper. We heard the noise, and then it never did damage. So I can get the noise maybe not being attached to actually when the damage happens, but it's not like a common trend. And I've now seen 2 instances of that, so I don't know what's up. I bet you if we watch that, it looks like it actually hit, but the game didn't actually treat it as a hit. Anyways, you know, Slam still has a lot of work to do here. His new dock didn't do much for him. And I like the switch from Vinch. Vinch mixing in the war galleys so we can range these monks from distance. Actually going to get that monk there. Unfortunate for Slam. And just like that, another game where Vinchester, he's able to start to take the lead in mid-castle. And guys, he's on 4 town centers right now. 4 town centers here, also making a castle in front of his gold. He's got 2 of the relics. There's a relic here he could maybe snag. And this relic. This is all Vinchester right now. Even the scout over here. Vinchester has not done a lot wrong in this game. Yeah, I wonder if they're able to tie the damage to the to the unit hitting instead of the sound. 'Cause I think what confuses us there is the sound. I mean, even the animation, it kind of looks like it finished, but again, I think my theory is correct that it just comes down to him moving a little bit too early there. Okay. Monks there getting a conversion or two. Obviously, the Knights feeling pretty useless right now. And I think Slam doesn't know what to do, guys. And I don't blame him too much. We'll have a castle from Vinchester in the middle. Vinchester's working off of better eco upgrades. Vinchester's going to have gold control. Vinchester will have relics. What on earth is Slam supposed to do to come back in this game? Again, I think the key here for him was not losing water early castle, and he was very late to scouting those docks. Everything's been pretty close, but Vinchester taking the small leads here, there. Slam's going to go imp. I think Slam's play is actually the correct play. I think he's going to try and drop a castle on the shoreline. And he's going to try and redock and then go for, like, fast fire ships or something. T90, which of these groups is the hardest for a player to stay in Platinum League, in your opinion? They're all really hard. They're all really tough. It's honestly really hard for me to say one group in particular. I would say the group that would potentially have the best chances to send out a big name would be... I mean, they're all big names. This is where it gets tricky. But probably Group D, because Group D has 5 players who, at least at one point in time, had been considered in people's top 10s. With Slam getting conversions here. I would have liked to see him save the monks, personally. I think those monks could have been useful when you get the imp upgrades. Yeah, like, that group has MBL, Dogal, Tato, Nikov, who am I missing? Bad Boy, and then ACCM. And 5 out of those 6 players have at one point been listed in many people's top 10. Or close to that. Now, obviously, you've got, like, Group A, and then you've got Viper, Jordan, Doubt. They're all top 10. Then you've got... Who else is in that group? You got Miguel, Classic Pro, say my name. But, like, again, I think Group D, if players are playing at their absolute peaks, is probably the group of death. Slam's strategy is spot on here. I think this is his way back. I was saying, how do you do it? This is how you do it. You castle the shoreline, and then you try your best to go for water control here. Now, this is what I meant about the monks, though. Like, wouldn't block printing have been super nice with 12 range to keep the monks alive, to continuously get conversions? Losing the monks how he did a moment ago is actually a really sloppy move from him. Vinchester's still producing Vills. A lot of players would cancel the Vills. And Bree says, is Vinch working his way towards the button? Guys, Vinch is on 6 TCs. He might actually be working his way towards the button. And what a demoralizing way to lose. If you're Slam, if that were to actually, you know, happen to be successful here. We are a long ways from the button, though. And that button is the Flemish Revolution. It turns all your villagers into military. I've actually never seen Flemish militia up against ships, so I don't know if they're like Halbs, where they do a decent amount versus ships, but I imagine they do. Again, guys, it's a strategy, okay? And it takes a lot of skill to click this button, all right? Obviously, a big commitment, though. I mean, he's definitely going to do it. He's definitely going to do it. He knows that Slam is sending everything he's got towards the middle, and so he's going to post up with castles in the mid. And he's getting upgrades right now for infantry. This is honestly a great play from Vinchester. Now, I also think he could have gone imp and tried to compete on water in a normal way. So, you know, I don't think that would have been a bad play. There's always a risk you can throw with the button, because you won't have eco afterwards. This is going to be interesting. So if you guys ever want to try this, you just have to make sure that you have enough food after researching the revolution to be able to make villagers out of like 5 or 6 TCs again and send them to all the farms you have. Again, Slam's at the limit. I'm pretty sure Vinchester could go for anything. I think this is Vinchester just having fun. But yeah, I think he's going to go for, you know, a bit of Navy combined with the Flemish militia. Again, if he even needs it, right? We might not even get to that point. Slam's not making much progress here. I think Slam going fast fire ships was the play. It's just the poor guy is so far behind economically and he hasn't made a ton of progress. But now he's making progress. Now he's making progress. They have a +6 bonus for ships. Of course they do. Of course they do. Okay. Does anyone know what Halbs is, by the way? I know Halbs have always had something. They're kind of like a Halb, but they're not. They have 12 base attack. They have 75 HP. Actually, much stronger than Halbs. A lot more versatile, but... Alright, here's this Vil count. 150 villagers and counting. Now, the key with the revolution as well is that you always have trebs to push. God, I want Slam to make like 8 demos right now in preparation for this. Can you imagine them all running out across the map? Also, what is this? There's a very good chance this castle will not complete because Vinch is going to research the revolution and these are going to turn into warriors. Guys, Vinchester just doesn't even seem troubled. I don't think he's concerned at all. And it's such a sad sight for Slam fans. But Vinchester's just toying with the guy right now. He knows he's got him exactly where he wants him. Getting all these technologies now. Bringing villagers to the middle just to take gold for now. He's still booming up on Vils. Yeah, just make like 10 demos just for the entertainment factor here, Slam. Oh, but like, imagine from Slam's perspective, you're not seeing a lot, so you're like, oh, I might have a chance. Might actually be able to do something. This is really important for me. He's just now getting fletching for Galleons too, which is really, really, really late. 174 villagers now, about to be 200 pop. Again, I've done this before where I'll research the revolution and then one of my castles won't be completed. He's going to make another castle over here. Slam's pop is rising. It's at 150 pop right now. And there's the revolution. And I think Slam called it immediately after because it's speeding up now. And Slam just calls it GG. Yep. So, most military created, 180. Slam just immediately taps out. Oh, man. I feel so bad for Slam right now. Oh, that's so painful. He didn't even see it, guys. He just heard the noise. There's a noise. It's like, raw! And he just said, yeah, you know what? Not having that. Congratulations on your win, Vinchester, and I'm out of here. And obviously, Vinchester would have won the game with this. He was massing the trebs. This is a lot of military. I mean, he's got military everywhere now. So 195 military versus 24. Even if these things don't do a lot of damage against ships, they're going to be able to eventually outmass it. Vinchester would then have the trebs. You just can't hold against that. Clicking a button to give you 200 military pop space is just absolutely insane. Vinchester would have had good economy again as well as he would have added more Vils. For Slam, that hurts, guys. For Slam, that hurts. And that means that his series against Capwatch, which will be his final set, is very much a must-win for him. And it will likely be a must-win for Capwatch. So if you're trying to track down sets to watch for the final week, I think Slam and Capwatch, because 2 1s or 3 0s there for either of those players could send them up to a point where they're not relegated. Of course, we need to see what happens with Capwatch against Leary from this week. We're going to be casting that soon, I think. We'll see if, he's going to get wins. But obviously, very tough for anyone to get wins off of Vinchester and Leary right now in Group C. Did the castles complete? Nope. This was at 92%. This castle didn't complete either. Kind of called that one. But yeah, I mean, for Vinchester, it feels like they're very close in Feudal Age and Castle, but then in Mid-Castle onwards, Vinchester's just so much better. And makes all those decisions look very easy, even with some unorthodox picks at times. Vinchester looks like the king.